Welcome along to episode 235 of Adventures in Pop, and my name is Simon Jacobs, and in this episode I'm looking at a few more of the tracks that are going to be on my new album, which is called Might As Well Dance. It's out on Friday the 27th of June, and very excited I am too. This is the third video where I'm just going back and doing a little reprise of all of the tracks, all of the songs that you are going to find on Might As Well Dance. So I'm up to track 8. And the 8th release from Might As Well Dance is a song called Heartburn. This came out obviously just a couple of months ago. And it is a true story, as I mentioned at the time, true story of going to a party when I was extremely young. I must have been about 17. It was to celebrate, I think, our school play in where we were doing As You Like It by that well-known playwright William Shakespeare. And I had the huge, enormous honour of playing the role of a Lord of the Forest, if I remember rightly. And in this version, I think our drama teacher had split the Lord of the Forest into 2 parts, which meant that I was the second Lord of the Forest, which I don't think William Shakespeare had ever really countenanced. And that meant I had one whole line, which I can't remember now. But to celebrate, there was this party somewhere out in the wilds of the very edge of London, on the edge of the countryside. I turned up with somebody quite special at the time, and I didn't really know anybody there. I didn't quite know what I was doing there. I felt like I was a bit of a fish out of water. It wasn't my scene. So the 2 of us escaped from the party, and that is basically what Heartburn is all about. It's about deciding this is not for us, and slipping out of the back door, as it says in the song, and going and doing, well, other things, down by a little stream in a field somewhere, and still always being able to see this house with the party going on inside and people dancing, hearing the music from the party, while, spending most of the night somewhere else. Kind of weird. And also kind of romantic. But that is the story of Heartburn, and here is a little reminder of how that song goes.
So we landed at the party like 2 aliens arrived from outer space. When I looked all around me, it was like I didn't know a single person in the place. So we opened up the back door and slipped outside unseen into the cool spring air. Oh, what the night might have in store, I could only dream of, but with you beside me I didn't care.
That takes us inexorably to track 9. Track 9 is Ibiza Sunset. Ibiza Sunset. Right, what I wanted to do for this song was to write one of those kind of classic Spanish sounding, pop dance kind of tracks. And I think, in my head, harking back to, several decades ago, songs like La Isla Bonita by Madonna or Domino Dancing by Pet Shop Boys that really embraced a kind of Spanish feel, and I wanted to, kind of do the same with brass knobs on. It's almost taken to a kind of ridiculous extreme on this track, Ibiza Sunset, but a whole load of fun I had in making it. So Ibiza Sunset has no particular story other than, what a wonderful time I had in Ibiza. And I guess for this, I was reminding myself, I had been to Ibiza a few times back in the noughties with my friend Jason, and we had a fab time. And as I said at the time, I think we were both aware that we were having a great time, but we'd probably missed the real peak of Ibiza being the most influential kind of summer dance scene probably in the world for a period. It was the place to go. So let's have a little reminder, shall we, of Ibiza Sunset track 9.
Ibiza Sunset. Don't be surprised if I am still dancing when you rise. This may be paradise, where summer wind blows, and I can feel beach sand between my toes.
Brings us neatly to track 10, and track 10 actually only came out a couple of weeks back, and it's called If I Can Love Again, and it's the most recent single that I've released, because, as you know, tracks 11 and 12 are the two tracks that have not been released in advance of the album. Track 12 is the one that is going to be, if you like, the single that comes out with the album on Friday. So we'll talk about track 12 on its own, probably tomorrow or the next day. So hang around and you will see the next video will be about the last track on the album, which is called Another Saturday. And as I will come on to mention, it's gloomy and doomy. But in the meantime, If I Can Love Again is a really kind of upbeat, fun song. And I think it's a song where the protagonist, the singer, is sort of caught between the desire to get it on with this person and this dread that actually they don't know, maybe they can't do it anymore. You know, maybe you know, they're too old, too jaded, too heartbroken to ever be able to love again. But they seem to be managing, as far as I can see. So it's one of those dilemma songs where it could be this, it could be that, and you're not quite sure really what's going on from hearing the song itself. But hey, you might be able to make more sense of it than I can. Here's a little slice of If I Can Love Again.
We're skin to skin, but I don't know if I can love again. Take me in. It's not a sin, but I don't know if I can love again. Never stop, even if I'm begging you and threatening that I will go with cups. 'Cause that's so good. I would stay right here forever if I could.
All right, that would do for this episode, and I thank you for watching. As I say, two last tracks still to come out, so we'll talk about Another Saturday in the next couple of days, and then there'll be obviously a major celebration for the album itself coming out on Friday, and finally I will come on to the lost track, the one not released as a single, track 11, which actually is a song called Wasted, and it's, frankly, it's as good or as bad, depending on your taste, your point of view, as any of the other tracks. But it just didn't quite, for some reason, end up being released. But it's only so that there is another track on the album that hasn't been released. Otherwise, it is a little bit, I guess it's just a bit predictable if everything has already been a single by the time you get to the album. So I'm trying to just hold back a little tiny bit of surprise and excitement. Thank you for watching. I'll be back very, very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.